Now we move to a story the CBS News Texas I-Team first uncovered nearly a year ago. It's about a Plano man who's in ICE custody as he and his wife now face felony theft charges.
It goes deeper. The FBI says bank records reveal more than 100 potential victims. And tonight, the lead detective in this case is telling investigative reporter Brian New he believes this is the most elaborate and prolific fraud case he's ever encountered.
They were more than just performers. Sammy Mukherjee and his wife Sunita lit up stages across North Texas with their voices and lit up social circles with their charm.
Boys and girls, please welcome Sammy and Gautami.
But feds say behind the curtain of applause was a different kind of performance, one that caught the attention of dozens of investors, one that investigators now say was a performance of deceit.
They will make you believe they are very successful business people, but they will take every single penny you have.
These 6 are just a fraction of what the FBI says could be more than 100 investors who gave the Mukherjees money for real estate deals. But when dividend checks bounced, suspicion set in, and the story began to unravel.
To be very frank, now looking back, we should have been much more wiser in terms of asking questions, but we never thought someone would go to that extent.
When they reported it to police, most departments told them the same thing. It was a civil matter. There was nothing they could do to help. But inside a back office at the Euless Police Department, one detective saw things differently.
Oh my God. One of the things I was thinking, if someone told me about fraud, I would never think the first thing that they show will be a musician.
Exactly.
That someone was coming. And they just showed like the performance where they are just singing like this slow, nice song that you can be dancing to. I would imagine like, modern fraud where a lot of people are using like computers in their house somewhere or whatever. But these guys are actually enjoying fame.
And defrauding people. I don't get it. This is just wild to me. Like, it's a wild story, Wally. This is wild.
Yeah. I just wanted to say I haven't continued playing.
And began what turned out to be nearly a 2-year-long investigation.
As I got into the case and dug into it, we realized that this was a lot larger than what initially was reported.
What caught Detective Brian Brennan's attention were the documents the Mukherjees gave their investors. He says letterheads had been tampered with, signatures were forged, emails, he says, completely fabricated. Even bank statements, he alleges, had been altered.
So all of these documents that he provided, the contracts, the invoices, the emails, they were all fake?
All fake. All fake. The level of counterfeit documents, and as many as that he created, put a lot of effort. I mean, it had to be a full-time job for him to do that.
At this point, Brennan brought in the FBI. Their forensics accounting team dug into Mukherjee's bank records, and they say they found victims' losses totaled more than $4 million, with 20 confirmed victims and more than 100 potential victims. But the alleged deception didn't stop there. According to the arrest warrant, the Mukherjees used a fake company with made-up employees to submit to the Small Business Administration for a PPP loan. Money was also found in the Mukherjees' bank account that had come from defrauding elderly folks into believing that they had warrants out for their arrest. Brennan says in his more than 2 decades working white-collar crime, he has never seen anything like this.
In 23 years, he's probably the most prolific as far as like tentacles going in all different directions, fraud from multiple different things.
And this is what I think about all the time, especially for people that commit fraud. Why don't you just get a full-time job? Do you know the extent that you have to get to create all those documents, and you cannot get a full-time job?
Well, fraudulent earnings are above the salary range or wage range you would have received as a job, so the effort is, quote unquote, the benefit, is higher. So I mean, that's the only explanation. I cannot really explain what's going on in the mind of a fraud, right? But I can assume that is why, rather than get a full-time job, I work and get, with depending on what states, maybe 13 minimum wage or whatever income bracket.
Yeah, and one of the things that they said, so the people that they interviewed, it defrauded them for some kind of investment that they invested with him. In defrauded
real estate investment. The guy is.
They also mentioned that old people also defraud them.
Defrauded them.
Like IRS
that gets created the fake business to get PPP loans. And that's the thing, this is the thing I've seen. The pattern I've seen, Wale, when we shared in one of our videos, is if you defraud the US government, they will eventually find out. It doesn't matter how long.
Yeah,
they will eventually find out. It just depends whether they will find out in your lifetime, like in the person's lifetime, but they will eventually find out that they were defrauded. And so I don't know why people think it is easy money to defraud the US government.
I don't know. It's crazy. Let's continue the video.
As investigators closed in on the Mukherjees, the Plano couple continued to seek out the spotlight. In May, as highlighted on Sunita's Facebook page, the Mukherjees headlined a charity gala in Plano, an event that featured a legendary Bollywood star from India. Among the guests of honor, the mayor of Plano. The event was hosted by a newly formed nonprofit, the Indian Traditions and Culture Society of North America. Tax records reveal that nonprofit traces back to this Plano home, the very home of Sammy and Sunita Mukherjee. Just weeks later, it was here where the couple was arrested. Sammy and Sunita Mukherjee both were charged with first-degree felony theft, a charge that could land them in prison from 5 to 99 years. Investigators say Sammy Mukherjee also has outstanding fraud warrants in India. He's currently being held at an ICE detention facility south of Fort Worth.
Investigators told us the couple had come to the U.S. from India seeking asylum. Online federal records do not indicate their current legal status. The couple's next court hearing for their felony theft charges is scheduled for September. Nicole, when we last spoke with Sammy Mukherjee after our investigation last year, he denied all the allegations and told us he was the real victim, a victim of a coordinated effort by a group of people who he says are jealous of him and his wife. Now, we did reach out to Mukherjee's criminal attorney and have not heard back.
It's interesting, to hear his perspective, of course, but I want to talk about the people who were affected. Is there any chance that they will get their money back?
Nicole, it seems unlikely. Last year, the Mukherjees filed for bankruptcy. Investigators told us they are still seeing if there is any money that may be offshore, but it appears as if they simply spent it.
Brian, you and the I-team have been on this for a while. You started investigating this case almost 2 years ago now. Full disclosure, we lay everything out here. You broke the story last summer. Mukherjee and his attorney actually filed a defamation lawsuit notice because of it.
Yeah, and in that notice, Mukherjee and his attorney alleged that our reporting was false and that Mukherjee never deceived or defrauded anyone. Our original investigative report was noted in Mukherjee's arrest warrant.
Oh my God, Wale.
The man.
Wale, America. I love the American system. If somebody has been accused of fraud, investigators claim they have evidence. The person still, through his lawyer, sue for defamation. The beautiful thing about the American system is until you're found guilty, right?
Yeah.
But there are indicators. For instance, if you're making some good money and you file bankruptcy, right? There's always something when people file bankruptcy, especially people that are successful or seem to be successful. There's always something around when they file bankruptcy. And there are so many victims who speak in the media about their experience of being defrauded. Do you get? And so we'll wait to see what the end result is. But this is a very, very crazy incident, honestly.
Yeah. And for me, the worst thing about, especially when the Trump administration is cracking down on immigration, this couple, as far as I'm concerned, this is my personal opinion, as far as I'm concerned, they're scammers, fraudsters that is still from people. They committed the same crimes back in India. To escape justice from India, they ran here and lied to US. But apparently, someone has to be seeking to harm you for you to be able to claim asylum. So they claim that now they are doing the same thing to Americans here, even South Asian Americans, because you see people in the video that are, from the same part of the world. Their own people, they are still defrauding them. So for me, it's going to be
I wake up to a little
bad
bit of
look,
drool on my
especially
pillow,
on
feel like
immigrants
it's gonna be a
now,
bad
especially
day.
those who want to do the
I'm
route, those
tired
who
of
actually
shit, and the coffee
need
ain't hit
asylum
yet.
from
Damn, ain't
places
that
like
great.
Southeast Asia,
I don't
Africa,
wanna
or
go
any
to
part
work
of
cause
the
my
world.
boss is a
This
jerk
is
and I'm
something
not
that
even
I
that
really
paid.
hope that
I need a
the
change
people
in my
that
life cause I
are
don't
victims
feel
are able
alive and
to
there's
claim
nothing
some
that
sort
makes
of
me
money
happy.
back, but
Hold my beer
regardless,
for a minute.
I
I'm
hope
about to
that
quit my
this is
job,
not going
cash
to
in for a
affect
ticket. I'm
those
going
who
on
are
a trip
actually
and I don't
victims
plan
of
to visit.
political
I'm
violence,
gonna stay
wherever it is
there
that
till
they
I
are fleeing
feel
from.
like I'm winning. Oh,
That's
and this is
not
just
just
the
what I
beginning.
want to
I need a
end
big
with.
change. How
All
it
right,
feels
then.
like living.
Drop
I
a
need a
comment
big
if you
swing,
have an
home
opinion.
runs. I'm
Like our
hitting, I'll
videos,
never look
subscribe
back,
to our
moving
channel.
on till I
I will
get
bring
it
you
all.
interesting updates and also educational updates. All right, bye now.
Young